Hello everyone, this is Remlays from 40k Theories, and welcome to this new episode of 40k Lore for Newcomers. For this episode, we will be continuing with our brief look at the Warhammer 40,000 timeline. While these videos will typically focus more on humanity's actions throughout the timeline, certain important Xenos events will also be documented throughout. So without further ado, let's continue. The following account is a continuation of events occurring throughout M41. Because of how intricate and detailed the events of this time were, only certain key events will be mentioned, which in turn will be expanded upon in future videos. In addition, there is also a small chance for potential inaccuracies of specific dates due to contradicting sources. For events that occurred prior to this, make sure to check out the previous videos in the 40k timeline. 999 M41. The Emperor's Children Traitor Legion invades the world of Extremis 6. The sonic weaponry of the Emperor's Children causes mass destruction across the world, resulting in the death of billions. The Imperium would dispatch Astra Militarum forces from the Elysian Drop Troops, Harakoni Warhawks, and Atharax Seraphs regiments, though the Loyalist forces would be utterly destroyed thanks to the presence of the demon Primarch, Fulgrim. The realm of Ultramar suffers from a full-scale Traitor Legion invasion, after Abaddon the Despoiler was informed by his sorcerers of Belisarius Caul's intentions to bring an unknown artifact to Macragge. Imperial survivors of the 13th Black Crusade emerge from the webway upon the shrine world of Lathis. After aiding an Ultramarines garrison force against the traitor legions, Saint Celestine convinces the Astartes to provide them passage to the world of Macragge. Once upon Macragge, Belisarius Caul states to Chapter Master Marneus Calgar that he must be brought before the Primarch Roboute Guilliman, whose mortally wounded form lies within a stasis field within the Temple of Correction. Caul then reveals his intentions, and the existence of a specially crafted suit of power armor that the Archmagus Dominus intends to use to heal the Primarch of his wounds, a task he can now accomplish in conjunction with the powers over life and death demonstrated by Ivrain, the emissary of Iniad. Caul's intentions provoke outrage amongst the Ultramarines officers, Calgar in particular, but thanks to Chief Librarian Varro Tigerius, Caul's entourage is allowed to enter the Shrine of Guilliman. As Caul begins his work, the Shrine of Guilliman is besieged by warriors of the Black Legion who desperately attempt to prevent the Archmagus from completing his mission. The stasis field is deactivated by Ivrain, allowing Caul to envelop Guilliman's body in an auto-reliquary that would begin encasing the Primarch within the experimental life support systems of the Armor of Fate. Imperial forces desperately try to hold back the traitors, but quickly find themselves becoming overwhelmed. Guilliman then awakens, fully armed and ready for battle. Guilliman's presence bolsters the efforts of the Loyalists and inspires terror within the traitors, and the Primarch cuts a swath of destruction through the Black Legion forces, leaving none alive within the Temple of Correction. Guilliman then orchestrates a devastating counterattack, forcing the traitors to withdraw from the Ultramar system. Following the aftermath of the conflict, Guilliman is briefly brought up to speed by the Loyalists regarding the current state of the galaxy, though the Primarch is shocked, even appalled, by what his father's Imperium has become. The Primarch declares that he must journey to the Imperial throne world of Terra, thus beginning the Terran Crusade. Over the course of this crusade, Guilliman's forces would not only increase substantially in size, but would succeed in reclaiming several worlds that had fallen to the predations of chaos. The warp would begin to grow more and more unstable, as the Chaos Gods themselves attempted to prevent Guilliman from reaching Terra. The Primarch's forces would be ambushed along the edge of the warp space rift known as the Maelstrom by the Thousand Suns Traitor Legion, led by the demon Primarch Magnus the Red. Magnus would use his sorceress abilities to drag Guilliman's fleet into the Maelstrom, destroying a number of Imperial ships that failed to erect their Gilla fields in time. Once within the Maelstrom, the Imperial fleet would be assaulted by the Red Corsairs, though the traitors would be repulsed. As they desperately sought for a route out of the Maelstrom, Guilliman's fleet would be assaulted time and time again by traitor Astartes and demons of the Chaos god Tzeentch. These ambushes took their toll, and the Imperials would eventually surrender to the Lord of Change, Kairos Fateweaver, in order to prevent the Primarch from being executed by the demon. The Imperials would then become imprisoned upon the Blackstone fortress belonging to the Chaos Lord Huron Blackheart. Fateweaver wished for the prisoners to be kept alive, seeing potential use in them, but the demon Skarbrand would lead a legion of Khornate demons against the fortress, seeking to claim the Primarch's skull for his master. In the ensuing confusion, Imperial forces would manage to escape from captivity and into a webway portal, thanks to the Eldari Harlequin, Salandri Veilwalker, and a number of fallen Dark Angels led by the mysterious being known as Cypher. Skarbrand would attempt to slay Guilliman, but the Primarch would succeed in banishing the demon, thanks to the sacrifice of the Black Templar's marshal, Amalric. Within Commorragh, Kain's Gate shatters, allowing demons to flood the Dark City. After several months of fighting, Asdrubal Vecht would intervene, organising a massed counterattack that succeeds in driving the demons back through the remains of Kain's Gate, before severing it from the rest of Commorragh. Demonic entities would keep appearing within Commorragh, forcing Vecht to sever more districts of the city from Commorragh, costing the Drukhari thousands of soldiers and slaves. Circa 999 M41 to 001 M42. The warp space rift known as the Cicatrix Maledictum is created, effectively splitting the galaxy in two. In the wake of the rift's creation, the Noctis Aeterna would occur, preventing the Astronomicon from being broadcast and making astropathic communications impossible for several weeks. Madness would begin to spread across Terra, and Trajan Valoris, the Captain General of the Adeptus Custodes, would recall the Sisters of Silence to Terra and request aid from the Grey Knight Space Marine chapter. 88 cohorts of Khornate demons would manifest upon Terra itself and lay siege to the Imperial Palace, leading to the Battle of Lion's Gate, also known as the Second Battle of Terra. Guilliman's forces would emerge from the webway upon Luna, Terra's moon. Before Veilwalker could seal the webway portal behind them, Magnus and the Thousand Suns would emerge from the portal. A fierce battle would erupt, and Guilliman would be almost overwhelmed by the Demon Primarch's sorceress abilities, but the Imperials would claim victory thanks to the timely arrival of Sol's naval fleet, warriors from the Imperial Fists, and a small number of Custodes and Sisters of Silence. Magnus would be driven back into the webway portal by Guilliman, allowing Veilwalker to seal the gate. The remaining Thousand Suns would mysteriously vanish. Guilliman's forces travelled to the Imperial Palace, and would aid the Custodes in defeating the horde of Khornate demons before they could breach the Eternity Gate. Following the battle, the Primarch would demand entry to the Emperor's throne room in order to converse with his father. Shield Captain Adronatus would grant him access on the condition that he do so alone. Cypher and his fallen angels were taken into custody by the Custodes, but Cypher would escape his incarceration within a week. Guilliman would spend many days and nights in the Emperor's presence, before finally re-emerging from the throne room. The Primarch then decrees that the Imperium is facing its darkest days, and becomes the new Lord Commander of the Imperium. And that concludes this portion of the Warhammer 40,000 timeline. Join us next time as we begin exploring the events of M42. If you liked this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for more content. To those new to 40k, we hope you learned something. So leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.